Hello, everyone. The Middle East is once again at the center of global attention. Tensions are rising, strategies are shifting, and the world is watching closely as events unfold in real time. What we are witnessing is not just another conflict, but a complex and evolving situation that could reshape regional and global dynamics. This is not about dramatic headlines or exaggerated claims. It's about understanding how modern conflicts are fought, how strategies are changing, and what it all means for the future. In recent years, warfare has entered a new phase. It is no longer just about overwhelming force or quick victories. Instead, it has become a test of endurance, planning, and the ability to sustain pressure over time. Advanced defense systems, once seen as nearly impenetrable, are now being challenged in ways that were not fully anticipated. One of the biggest lessons from ongoing conflicts is that even the most sophisticated systems have limits. They depend on supply chains, production capacity, and the ability to respond continuously under pressure. When those systems are forced to operate non-stop, cracks can begin to appear, not necessarily because they fail completely, but because maintaining that level of defense becomes increasingly difficult. At the same time, strategies have evolved. Instead of relying only on high-end technology, some approaches now focus on using a combination of low-cost tools and persistent pressure. This creates a situation where expensive defensive measures are used repeatedly against relatively inexpensive threats. Over time, this imbalance can strain even the strongest military structures. This kind of strategy is not about immediate victory. It is about patience. It is about forcing the opponent into a position where resources are stretched thin and decision-making becomes more difficult. In many ways, modern warfare has become a long game rather than a short burst of intensity. Another important factor is timing. In traditional thinking, the strongest strike would come first, but now we are seeing approaches where the initial phase is designed to test, probe, and weaken defenses. The most decisive actions may come later, when the conditions are more favorable. This shift challenges long-standing assumptions. It shows that technology alone does not guarantee dominance. Instead, success often depends on how effectively resources are managed and how well strategies are executed over time. Beyond the battlefield, the impact of these developments is being felt globally. Economic systems are sensitive to instability, especially in regions that play a key role in energy supply. Even the perception of risk can influence markets, trade routes, and investment decisions. Countries around the world are paying close attention. They are evaluating not just the outcome of events, but also what those events reveal about power, reliability, and long-term stability. Alliances are being reconsidered, and strategies are being adjusted accordingly. There is also the question of escalation. In a region as interconnected as the Middle East, any increase in conflict carries the risk of involving additional players. What starts as a localized situation can quickly expand, drawing in more forces and creating wider consequences. This is why many decisions are being made with extreme caution. Leaders understand that even a small miscalculation could lead to a much larger crisis. The stakes are high, not just for the region, but for the global system as a whole. At the same time, we are seeing signs of a broader shift in the balance of power. For decades, the global order has been shaped largely by a single dominant influence. But now there are indications that the structure may be evolving into something more complex. A multipolar world where multiple powers share influence is becoming a more common topic of discussion. In such a system, no single country has complete control, and relationships between nations become more dynamic and flexible. Whether this transition fully takes place remains to be seen. However, current events are clearly contributing to that conversation. They are highlighting both the strengths and the limitations of existing systems. Another important aspect is perception. In global politics, perception can be just as important as reality. How events are interpreted by different countries can influence decisions, partnerships, and future actions. If a nation is seen as strong and reliable,
it can strengthen its position without taking additional action. On the other hand, if doubts begin to emerge, those perceptions can have long-term consequences. This is why information, communication, and narrative all play a role in modern conflicts. It is not just about what happens, but also about how it is understood. Looking ahead, the situation remains uncertain. There are many possible outcomes, and each depends on a wide range of factors, including political decisions, military strategies, and economic conditions. What is clear is that the world is entering a period of change. The rules that once seemed fixed are being questioned, and new patterns are beginning to emerge. For viewers trying to make sense of all this, the key is to focus on the bigger picture. Instead of getting lost in individual events, it is more useful to understand the underlying trends and forces at work. These include the shift toward long-term strategic thinking, the growing importance of resource management, and the increasing complexity of global relationships. In many ways, we are witnessing a transformation in how power is exercised and maintained. It is less about dominance in a single moment, and more about resilience over time. As the situation continues to develop, the world will be watching closely. Every move, every decision, and every response will contribute to shaping the outcome. The coming months could be critical in determining not only the future of the region, but also the direction of global politics. So the question remains, are we seeing a temporary phase of instability, or the early signs of a much larger shift? That is something only time will answer. What we can do for now is stay informed, think critically, and understand that behind every headline, there are deeper dynamics at play. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more updates on this evolving situation.